Hi, I'm Marie Elizabeth Molly, and this is Relationship Alchemy. Welcome to the new year. We're going to be talking about better relationships today and how to really make that happen this coming year. This episode is for you, whether you're in a relationship or not. You could, if you're not currently in an intimate romantic relationship, you could pick family relationships. You could pick your relationship with yourself. You could pick relationship with your friends. We are in umpteen relationships in our lives, even though we tend to get hyper-focused on romantic ones. So this 3-step process that I'm going to teach you today really applies to any relationship. So don't sweat your situation, whether you're in a relationship or not. Don't sweat it. Just apply it. All right? Number one, first step is going to be to take stock of your relationships as they are now. If you want to focus on your intimate relationship, do that. If you want to focus on any of the myriad other relationships you're in your life, do that. If you want to focus on your relationship with yourself, do that. But the first step to creating any kind of change for the better is seeing where you're at. This is a dispassionate, non-judgmental assessment of what's present for you now. In other words, you're not judging it, you're not judging yourself, you're not judging anybody else. The point is just to get super clear on what's here now, what's working well, what you wish were different. Awareness is the first step to change, as I say over and over again. So first you got to start with the awareness and take stock. Step 2 is to pick one thing from what you noticed about what could be improved. Pick one thing, create a practice around it, and focus on improving that one thing. One of the mistakes people make, especially at the beginning of the year, is they just bite off way more change than their subconscious can actually handle. So what happens a few weeks into the new year is you end up self-sabotaging. You end up forgetting or injuring yourself or giving up or whatever it is, picking a fight. You end up sabotaging the changes you want to make because you tried to make too many all at once. So my recommendation is to pick one thing, focus on improving that. What I mean by creating a practice around it is once you're clear about the one thing you want to improve, brainstorm what you need to do to actually improve that. Do you need to get some more skills around communication? Do you need to learn how to stay connected to your own body while you're with another person and maybe getting upset? How do you stay connected with yourself and connected to the situation at the same time? That might be the thing you need to focus on improving for the relationship to improve. Maybe the thing you want to focus on improving is speaking up in real time when something doesn't feel right. That might take practice. Whatever the thing you want to improve is, pick one aspect of it, very specific, so you can measure whether or not it's getting better and create some kind of practice around it, whether that's seeking more knowledge, practicing doing the thing, and then journaling about it later, etc. So you're going to pick a thing, and then you're going to decide how you're going to make that thing better. And then carry out the actions of making the things better. It doesn't, it's not enough to know what you want to change or to decide what specific thing you're going to focus on improving. You also have to get into action, right? Knowing and deciding are the first step, but then you got to get into action. So the third piece is to celebrate every little improvement that you experience. We can tend to be so hard on ourselves when we're trying to change stuff and notice so heavily where we fall short or we don't live up to the new thing that we're trying to do. Our brains have a natural tendency to focus on that. Don't do that, because that just shoots yourself in the foot and makes it likely that you'll stop trying to improve that thing because you'll just be like, well, I suck. I can't do it. Didn't work. However, if what you do is deliberately train yourself to celebrate every little improvement, some tiny way. Oh, wow, look at that. In that spot, I was able to stay conscious for a few more seconds before I got reactive. Or, oh yeah, I did a better job of speaking up over here. Or, wow, I didn't know that I wanted something and they brought it to me before I even asked. Whatever it is. Celebrate every little improvement by going, yes, I'm a person who follows through. Look at that. It's getting better. Or look at me. I'm doing great. It feels cheesy when I talk about it, but let me tell you, this technique really works. Picking one small thing and then celebrating the fuck out of yourself when you actually make progress on that one small thing builds your muscle of being able to stick with things long enough for them to actually change, not to have it be a fluke, but for it to actually change. This works super well. I had a client a few years ago who, when I told her this, she was wanting to start exercising. And when I told her this practice to pick one small thing, do one small thing and celebrate the fuck out of herself when she did it, she was like, she kind of rolled her eyes internally. She didn't show that to me. She only told me later. But internally, she was like, oh, this is so cheesy. But she did it. She trusted me. That's being coachable. That's being coachable. When you think something's stupid, but your coach tells you to do it, so you do it anyway, that's called being coachable. I love clients like that. I don't care if you think what I'm telling you is stupid. I just want you to do it and let the results speak for themselves. So anyway, after about 3 weeks of doing one small thing in the movement direction and celebrating herself for it, she noticed that her sense of self felt so much stronger. Her self-esteem was stronger. She felt like she had more access to self-love than usual. She felt some of the critical voices getting quieter. It totally shifted how she related to herself, and she was able to make massive and necessary changes in her life after that, after focusing on one small thing and building a muscle of celebration around it. Changed her whole perspective and contributed to the inner strength that she needed to change other bigger things about her life. So I'm suggesting what seems like a super innocuous, tiny little practice, and it is, and it can also be the game changer for you to make larger changes in your life that you might want to be making, but not quite see your way to just yet. There's so much pressure that we place on the top of the year, new year, new you, all that bullshit. And I just want to end by saying, don't place that kind of pressure, even though the new year is a time where we often reevaluate things. It's a marker that we cross every year. We cross the new year every year if we're lucky to be breathing. Don't create pressure around having this year having to be like the most magnificent ever. Don't do that. And it is an opportunity to take stock, pick one small thing you want to focus on improving, getting into action around it, and celebrating every little improvement you notice. Not just about that one thing, just celebrating anything you do well, anything that goes well, any good that comes your way. Celebrate all of that, and you'll find your muscle to create positive change in your life getting stronger and stronger. This has been a conversation about better relationships. I'm wishing you a fantastic 2023. And remember, until we meet again, that a great relationship starts with you.